To inspect and replace the front brakes on your Razor Turbo R, follow these steps. Park the vehicle on a flat level surface and ensure it is in park. Next, remove the tires from the vehicle. Begin by loosening the lug nuts while the vehicle is on the ground, but do not remove at this time. Then, safely elevate the vehicle. Reference your owner's manual for proper lifting techniques. Once safely elevated, remove the lug nuts and set aside. Then, remove the wheels and set aside. Next, loosen the tie rod nut on the bearing carrier until the ball joint stem is recessed. Then, strike the tie rod nut firmly to free the tie rod from the carrier. Use care to avoid damaging the brake line or banjo bolt on the brake caliper. Continue by removing and retaining the washer and discarding the nut. Then, pull the tie rod end out of the hub. Next, remove and discard the upper and lower caliper mounting bolts and carefully remove the caliper from the bearing carrier. Use care to avoid damaging the brake line when removing the upper caliper fastener. Then, rest the caliper upside down on the wheel hub. Continue by carefully pressing in on the outer brake pad to remove it from the caliper. Next, push the caliper piston into the caliper bore slowly, using a C-clamp or locking pliers with the inner pad installed. Note that the brake fluid will be forced back into the master cylinder fluid reservoir and can cause it to overflow. Remove any excess fluid needed to prevent overflow and wipe up any spills promptly to prevent paint damage. Then, pull the inner pad away from the caliper bore and pivot out to remove the pad. Next, turn the caliper on its side and slide the caliper mounting bracket off the caliper. Then, inspect the caliper boots for wear or damage and replace if necessary. Continue by supporting the caliper with a wire hanger, rope, or retention strap to avoid damage by kinking or bending the line. Before continuing, inspect the brake pads for damage or wear and replace if necessary. Next, remove the brake pad clips from the caliper mounting bracket. A flathead screwdriver may be used to aid in removal. And inspect for any wear or damage. Replace if necessary. Then, clean the caliper mounting bracket stems with a shop rag. Continue by applying high-temperature grease to the stems. Then, reinstall the brake pad clips into the caliper bracket. Next, install the caliper mount pins into the two caliper boots. Ensure the boots are secured over the lip on the mount pin. To do this, press the caliper mount in and twist the boots while working them over the lip on the pins. Then, lubricate the outside edges of the inner pad, install the pad on the caliper, and press in until fully seated. Continue by lubricating the outside edges of the outer pad, reinstalling the pad, and hooking one side of the pad in first, and then rotating the other hook into place. Next, install the caliper onto the brake disc, ensuring there is one pad on each side of the brake disc. Then, align the mounting holes and install the new upper and lower caliper fasteners. Use care to avoid damaging the brake line when reinstalling the upper caliper fastener. Continue by torquing the fasteners to specification. Before continuing, ensure any items used to secure the brake caliper are removed from the wheel well. Also, inspect the tie rod for wear or damage and replace if necessary. Next, insert the tie rod into the bearing carrier and secure with the retained washer and a new nut. Then, counter-hold the ball joint stem and torque the nut to specification. Next, install the wheels on the vehicle and tighten the lug nuts until fully seated. Then, safely lower the vehicle until the tires begin to touch the ground. This will help keep the wheels in place when torquing. Once lowered, torque the lug nuts to specification in a crisscross pattern. Then, repeat this process for the other wheel. Next, lower the vehicle completely. Continue by verifying the fluid level in the reservoir is up to the max line inside the reservoir. Then, slowly pump the brake pedal multiple times until pressure has been built up. Maintain at least half the brake fluid reservoir to prevent air from entering the brake system. Repeat this process for the brake pads on the other side of the vehicle as needed. Always replace brake pads in pairs on the same axle. If the pads were replaced, the brake burnishing procedure should be completed by slowly bringing the vehicle up to 30 miles per hour and gradually applying the brakes until stopped. Repeat this procedure 10 times while ensuring the brakes have had sufficient time to cool between runs to prevent brake disc warping. For more information, see your authorized Polaris dealer or visit Polaris.com.